afternoon, fellow rippers. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Florida Panhandle. Mick here with Grip It, Rip It, Chip It, coming to you today from my backyard, actually. And I'm sure you're wondering why you're watching lawn mowing happening on a golf channel. But we're going to come back here in the field and I'm show you why. Because I decided to make this field back here a golf hole. So I am building my own golf hole. So we're going to walk over here. So basically, you riding along on the lawnmower as I was cutting the grass on the field to create this golf hole. So I'll show you what I have got so far. Back here on this backside is where I have cut kind of a tee box area. So this is going to be the tee box. So basically the golf hole is going to have a carry over a lot of this heavy grass, so I just made a pathway through the heavy stuff that you have to carry, and then right up at the end of the pathway, I'll take you up there. It opens up into a little bit of a fairway, and then the green is going to be way over here, kind of just to the right of that tree, a little bit of a dog leg. It'll be sitting about right there. We'll walk up there and I'll show you in a minute. I'm gonna get out my laser rangefinder and I'm just going to shoot to the back in the fairway where the green is located, about these trees back there. I'm just going to shoot how far those trees are to see about how far this hole is going to end up being. Alright, so looking at from this right side of the tee box, because this is going to be a little bit of a dog leg left, which that just happens to be how this field is laid out. For anybody who's watched my videos would know that if I was going to design the perfect hole for me, it would not be a dog leg left, it'd be a right, because I usually hit it to the right when I miss. But this just happens to be how this land is laid out and this field works out, so maybe that'll help me to practice hitting a little draw. But from the right side of the tee box to the back, the trees back behind back there, and they're a little bit to the right and closer, but it shows right around 209 yards. So it's definitely a good enough hole to practice. It's probably going to be more like a par 3 hole. It might be just a little bit longer than that because of the way the thing curves and those trees are a little bit closer, but it's not a particularly long hole. It's not like a driver, pull out a driver and hit it hole. I'll just take you up here and show you kind of what you were looking at when I was mowing. We're going to walk up through. This will be after you tee off. Bring your clubs up through here. This is just like a little cart path. Definitely going to have to hit a draw though, because this part over here gets wet. So this is kind of where it opens up a little bit. I made kind of a little fairway here. I could make it wider. I got plenty of room over here to widen it out a little bit. This over here gets pretty wet, so it's not the ideal thing to do over there. But I did create another little tee box right here that shot will kind of go right over the edge of these little trees in the middle here, just to the side of it, and then the green up there. So that can be maybe a short little one. Looks like maybe, I don't know, 75 yards maybe? Actually, I think I was right on. To the back fence post back there is 79 yards, and that's just a little bit behind the green, so 75 is probably a pretty close estimate of what the middle of the green would be. So you come up here, and this is a little bit of fairway. It's still pretty rough grass, so I don't know how this is going to work for a fairway. I don't plan on replanting this with any kind of fairway grass or anything. And this is just kind of leftover clippings. It gets pretty wet. You can see the tire marks. So I don't know that it's worth cutting this all into fairway, because I think the ball would just plug and get lost anyway. Like up here you can see how wet it gets. And over here it's a lot better dry, so I may expand the fairway a little bit that way. So then we come up to here, and it's a little bit hard to see the green that I cut. It's kind of a kidney shape. This right here is the edge of it, and it goes like that and out and around, out by the trees, comes back in a little bit, back out, and then out like that, out that way, and then comes right back in around here, and that's kind of the edge of it. I tried to cut kind of a little bit of a, I don't know if on camera if you can see the difference, like this is the edge of the green, and this is kind of like a little fringe. It's just a little bit longer, and then when you get out there, that's like fescue long, really long. And so this is kind of the green, the fringe, and then this line right here is kind of a little bit longer. And then I left this, I was going to cut this and leave it open, but I figured this is kind of like a trap area. That'll be kind of a little penalty area. If you hit short of the green and right, that'll be in there. You'll be lucky to find the ball. And like out here, if you hit off of this fairway into that stuff, you're gonna have to see exactly where your ball lands to find it, because this stuff is pretty long. And then I have this field over here that I could make a little tee box over there and hit from that side of the field back across this way over to the green too. So this grass right here is the same as this. It does get a little bit less coarse over by the fence line. It's not the best, because this grass is kind of a thick, coarse hay, barley type grass that's in here, and so you can see there's a lot of gap. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on camera, but oh yeah, I think so. See how much gap there is between the grass and blades? There's a lot of dirt area between it. So it's not really fine, coarse, filled in type of grass. But I cut it down pretty low, and I cut a green. I cut this green out, I don't know, a week or two ago, down low like this, and then I let it grow for a week to see what it would look like, and it grew back in with nice green grass, kind of like this field is over here. I don't know if you can see that field, but it was kind of like this. There's three choices I can do for this green. I can leave it like this grass and then let it grow a week or so and get a little bit higher up in green, and then try to roll that, keep it at about an inch or so, and roll it flat to see if the ball will roll on that or not. I'm not real optimistic on that. I don't know that that'll work. The other choice is to dig up all this area, you know, till it, and then I can plant some real grass, like some poana or some bent grass or something like that, Kentucky bluegrass, something that can come in real tight, and then cut that low and roll it, and then have a real green here. That would be a little bit more to maintain, I think, because I'd have to, you know, keep constant attention on it. Then the third option is, which would be a lot more expensive, is to take this whole area and make it into a, I don't know what you call them, like a sport green, the AstroTurf type of green, where it's permanent, fake. And it's actually a pretty cool, I don't think you could pick it up on camera, but it's actually a pretty cool area for a green, because there is some different changes in elevation. Like over here, there's kind of a false front that comes back down the hill. There's a little hump in the middle and a valley, and then on the backside it falls off a little bit. There's a little bit of a ridge right here that I don't know that you can see it, but there's a lot of places where you could put a hole and putt to that would make it a pretty good challenge. So it's pretty, this right here has got a little bit of a false off of the backside, so it's a pretty good area to have a green. It's just going to take a little time to figure out what the best way to do with the grass. Ideally, the fake green, the sports green or whatever that they call them, putting area, to make one for outdoors, to have it just be here permanent, that would be awesome, to be able to come over here and just practice putting on my own putting green. But I'm sure that's not cheap, so I'll have to investigate that a little bit. for now, I'm just going to try to do the best I can with this. I'm not going to really worry too much about putting. It's going to be more of a golf hole to practice going out a ways to the green. So fun little place for me to practice. 210-yard golf hole in my backyard. That's pretty cool. And then I have a little 75-yard shot from another tee box to that same green. And then I have that other field on the other side over there that I can create another tee box to come across. I could probably make a 100-yard shot from there and have about, you know, a few different holes for a few different distances to practice in my backyard. And ideally, if I can get that green to be like an actual green, the grass where it'll actually putt and roll true, I mean, that would be awesome. Be able to just take my putter and the ball and go out on the back side of my backyard and practice putting and have a real putting surface to do it with. So I'll keep you updated and follow up with it as I go, as we get things developed and going with it. And hopefully you enjoy watching me make my own little golf hole or a little golf course in my backyard. Depending on how many holes I can make, it might be kind of fun. Have like a little 9-hole course from the different areas of my property over to that same green, just have different tee boxes coming at it. So that'd be kind of cool. All right, everybody, that's it for this video. So I hope you liked it. Hope you'll follow along as I do different things with that little backyard golf course, I guess. And maybe I'll once I get it all kind of mowed and set up the way I want, I'll get my clubs and play it a couple times, see how it goes. Hit it once from back tee and once from that shorter tee I got. And maybe that'll be in a future video. So appreciate you watching. Hit them long, hit them straight, and until next time, we'll see you later.